What's up guys, and welcome back to another episode of the PS5 career mode. This is episode number 72. And we start today's episode off with a brief look at the league table. 9 games to go. We are still top 7 clear of Manchester City in second. But even Arsenal and Manchester United, as we know, are not out of the title race just yet, especially due to those games in hand. And for our first of 5 in today's episode, on the back of the win against Leicester in the last game in the last episode, taking on yet another struggling team in the Premier League. Bournemouth right now sat in 19th place, many points drift of safety. They need the wins, the Cherries, but as do we, to remain top of the table. And heading to the game feeling very confident. A Brett Gise fires us in an early goal and just past the hour mark, still leading by 1, looking for a second goal. This is a brilliant ball by Jay Potts. Kelman on the end of it as the boys off the bench link up for our seconds. We go 2 goals up here, 64 minutes into the game. It is so hard to get Jay Potts to game time, but he really is a promising youngster. And it's really trivial, but I love the fact he's so tall. He's 6'2". He just looks, do you know who he reminds me of when I see him? He just reminds me of like a Yaya Toure. You know, a physical presence through the middle of the pitch. He's got height. He's not got that much strength, but he's got a great eye for a good pass, just like Toure had, and a really, really solid player. I think both sitting back and also going forward. I think Potts could do both of those roles. As we know, when he was scouted by our youth scout, he came into the academy known as a defensive midfielder. That was where he was playing for his youth team before we picked him up to the academy, a defensive midfielder. Of course, you guys, my head of youth development, said train to be an attacking midfielder, which of course I did, and that is of course his best natural position. But again, like Toure, I think he can play through all of the spine of the team. He's a very versatile player, but a great passer of the ball. Anyway, we Duke made it 3-0. That was how the game would finish. And for the second of 5 in today's episode, oh, the big one here. RB Leipzig away in Germany. Second leg of the Champions League, round of 16. First leg draw at the Kai Prince Foundation Stadium 1-1. Meant heading to Germany, we had to score. And I gotta say, man, I felt incredibly confident indeed despite the tricky first leg. David made it 1-0 as we cancelled out the away goal early. And after that, I thought, right, we're in the driving seat here. 33 minutes in, Meffa makes a really great last-ditch interception and clearance to keep it at 1-0. But 43 minutes in, what a lovely little flick and passing move. It was a Brett Gise a minute before the break. Makes it 2-0. Queen's Park Rangers, and because of that goal there, that kind of killed RB Leipzig's mood, man. That was basically it for them. Once we went 2 goals up, due to the away goal ruling, they would need 3 in the second half. Quite frankly, it just wasn't going to happen. We did such a great job of taking the crowd out of the game as well, dominating possession, knocking the ball around, not giving them multiple chances. The best one they had was going to be a certain goal until Meffa made a brilliant last interception. I know I've said so many times before, but Meffa is unbelievable in this year's career, man. I love him so much. So yeah, 2-0 the final score, and we are through to Champions League quarter-finals for the first time ever in our first ever season in the Europe's elite competition. So for the third game of 5 in today's episode, final one of March, away from home at Goodison Park against Everton. You would have seen the Bull is coming back to training, so welcome back Mr. Bull after his 2-month dislocated shoulder. However, I didn't decide to gamble and risk him in this game here against Everton as he wasn't fully recovered, and taking on the Toffees right now, looking for a Europa League place. 17 minutes to go. This was such a tough game. Everton away, always a tough place to come. And late on, Bruno Guimaraes gives Carlo Ancelotti's side the lead as they go a goal up. As we pushed and pressed and looked for a late leveller. 7 minutes to go. David Tuizé round the goalkeeper, hurdles, picks it back up, rolls it across. McKennie, David, surely no. Saved by Benitez, and the Toffees scramble it away, and that was how the game would finish. Final score, Everton 1, Queen's Park Rangers 0. Our first defeat in the league in several weeks, and it is over. Our unbeaten run in the Premier League ended by the Toffees, 1-0 at Goodison Park. And it's always a tough place to come, don't get me wrong, but such a frustrating loss there. Really, really tough one to take. Just couldn't get on any chances. And I'll probably say, I wouldn't say beaten by the better team, but I'll probably say only one team deserved to edge it. And in the end, it came down to who was more clinical. That's the Toffees. They get a big win in their pursuit of that 7th and final European spot. And because of that, look at the league table here as we enter April. Again, 7 games to go for us. But it's one of those bizarre stages now where, you know, there's so many teams on different amounts of games played. And you might have noticed it right now. Whilst Man City in second and the closest team to us right now on points Arsenal have got the 2 games in hand, and I worked out if they win them both, they'll cut the gap on us to 4 points, and the Gunners coming from nowhere to challenge our crown. And I must say, it's looking very tight. Even Manchester United, who we've got this month of April away at Old Trafford, they're not out of it either. Despite being 10 points behind, they've got the 2 games in hand, just like Arsenal do. So whilst Man City are our closest threat on points right now, with the games in hand, Manchester United and Arsenal could make this 2-horse race a 4-horse race. So we'll look at our fixtures then for the month of April again. Manchester United away is the big one, but of course the Champions League quarter-final was also drawn as well. I do apologise for this, but I stopped the simulation after every single day looking for the draw in the news article, but unfortunately it never happened. So I couldn't get the little graphic where the dude pulls the name out of the hat or the ball, or the bowl if you will, and says QPR and who we've got. We've got Lyon though in the last state of the Champions League quarter-final. How funny is that? Such a coincidence too. We just knocked out RB Leipzig, who we had in last year's Europa League knockout ties, and now we've got Lyon, the team that knocked us out in the semi-final. Sacre bleu. So we'll be going for revenge there against the French side in the last state. Very looking forward to it, but after last year we know just how tough that will be. They dumped us out in the final 4, only to be beaten by Roma in the final, but that is going to be an incredibly difficult tie to get through to the semis. We're also the only English side left in the competition, as you might have noticed as well. So we're representing England in the final 8 of the Champions League. And for our 4 for 5 games in today's episode, the penultimate one of the episode today, first game of April, taking on the Magpies here in Newcastle United. As we know, getting into the Europa League for this season after a great league campaign last year. Taking them on in the Kai and Prince Foundation Stadium. The ball was not risked for the game against Everton. I gave him the whole international break to recover, to come back fit, fresh, and raring to go for this one. His first appearance in over 2 months against the Magpies, and what a surprise. Early on into the game, it was all Charles Ball. He set up our first goal as Jonathan David hits 20 Premier League goals for the season. Almost got his first goal back 28 minutes in. That would have been great had he scored that one just wide, but then set up our second goal as well. Weston McKennie making it 2-0 as the American gets in on the act, and 13 minutes after the restart, still leading by 2. It set up both of our opening 2 goals, but I really wanted Charles to mock the Matador for the first time since returning. Welcome back, Mr. Ball. Welcome back. Man of the match display in his comeback game after a 2-month injury. He's back to his best straight away. 2 assists for our opening 2 goals, and then right before the hour mark, our third goal scored by him as he makes it QPR 3, Newcastle United 0. So really dominant and routine victory here against the Magpies. 3-0 the final score, and yeah, the Bull, man. We've missed him so much. I mean, I say we've missed him. We're still top of the table. We're into the last state of the Champions League as well. This the first leg here away in France against Lyon, but let's be honest here. Whilst we've got the capable squad to cope without him whilst he's down, the Bull is still the talisman of this team and the leader as well. So yeah, great to have him back there, and he showcased his worth in his very first game since returning from injury. So yes, for the 5th and final game of today's episode, we're here again. We're back in France to take on Lyon, this time in the Champions League, looking for revenge in France. And last year in this fixture, it finished 0-0 after the first leg, which Lyon were buzzing about, knowing going back to the Kai and Prince Foundation Stadium, if they scored, they'd surely go through. That's exactly what happened. So I didn't want to make the same mistakes again. Back here this time around, we had to score some away goals, and just 9 minutes in, oh yes, our 2 star players linking up for the first goal of the tie. Ball with the through ball, David with the finish, Lyon 0, QPR 1. And I was just in attack mode from the very first whistle. Like, come on, man, I'm not making the same mistakes again. A goalless draw will be devastating. We've got to get some goals. And right before the break, we doubled our lead to make it 2-0. David with the through ball, a Brett Gizet with a finish. Robin doubles our lead, and 2 away goals in the first half. A brilliant first half display here in France. And Lyon knew they needed to respond in the second half here. Trailing by 2. Yes, there'll be a whole second leg to come, and they need to get back in the game, and they would as well. 2 minutes after the restart, Del Castillo makes it 2-1 as Lyon half the deficit and get back in the game and the tie as well. And the cliche is that football is a game of 2 halves. Well, in this game, it was completely accurate. In the first half, it was all QPR. In the second half, it was all Lyon. They dominated possession. They just couldn't find the right final ball to create a clear-cut chance and get themselves the second goal and level it from 2-0 down. Woodman made a good stop towards the end of the game as we still led by 1, and thankfully, after Freddie's late save there, that was how the game would finish. Final score 2-1, and my goodness gracious me, these guys are such a tough team to face in this year's career mode. Really balanced game, could have gone either way. Again, the game was a game of two halves really. We played better in the first, Leon better in the second, but we do come through a big 2-1 victory, 2 away goals. Leon will need to score twice at the Kai and Prince Foundation Stadium. You saw by my post-match interview there, the job is far from over. We're only at the halfway point, and after last season they came to West London and dumped out of the Europa League. There's no reason it won't happen again. But that was this episode of the PS5 career mode, guys. So big thank you for watching. If you have enjoyed it, if you have, then please do drop a like. Much love to you all. Have a fantastic day, and I'll see you for the next episode. Another massive one, the second leg against Lyon in the Champions League quarter-final, plus Manchester United away, and some big Premier League games too, as we aim to stay top of the table and keep away from the chasing pack very soon.